Hey friends, welcome back. These are my top 10 new drugstore favorites. We're just gonna jump into this, and I wanted to just, share why I have been loving these products. And I think that if you have yet to pick these products up, that you guys would love these as well. I do have some other products that are not winners that maybe I could also do a video on. It's not gonna be like a 10. I've got 8 products that I've picked up over the past 3 months that I just do not like and I do not recommend. So if that is a video that you guys would like to see, let me know. I find those videos to be helpful as well. If you've been staying up on my more recent videos, you probably know what products I'm going to talk about in this video, but the Rimmel Multitasker. I love this, and I have several other glowy primers in my makeup collection, but this one, it just gives the skin such a beautiful luminous finish. It's very comparable to the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter, but there is just something about this Rimmel one that I think makes the skin look even more perfected and glowy. Emily Noel, she likes to use this as just a product by itself and kind of use it as a foundation. I haven't used it that way quite yet. I find that for my skin type, because I'm more normal, slightly oily, that it kind of just makes me look a little too glowy to just use as a foundation by itself. Maybe I could try to just use it with a powder foundation. Maybe I would like it that way because it would kind of tone down the glow. But if you are a skin type that's more on the dry side, or you just really like a luminous finish with a light coverage, you might also enjoy this just by itself as well, because it does provide a little bit of extra coverage and it just evens the skin out a little bit. I've been enjoying using this under my foundations that are matte or a skin finish, semi-matte, just to give those foundations more of a beautiful glow and finish. Like the e.l.f. Halo Glow liquid filter, I feel like a lot of the shades in that range are really orangey peachy, where this range has a lot of good natural kind of tones. If I compare my e.l.f., which I have the e.l.f. one in, I think it's fair, 0.5 fair, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. How the e.l.f. one looks more peachy, where the Multitasker is more of a neutral undertone. So, oh man, my lid just completely broke off of the e.l.f. one. This is another thing about the e.l.f. Halo Glow. If you have this, has your lid cracked off like that? I don't know why my lid started cracking. I mean, I can still use it like this. Okay, so the 2 foundations that I have been reaching for, and I just love both of these, the Maybelline Superstay Lumi Matte Foundation. This one is a bit more matte than the Milani Conceal Plus Perfect Stick Foundation, but these 2 foundations, I've been rotating these. Let me get this turned around. But I've been rotating these in my collection, using these day to day. They look beautiful over this Rimmel Multitasker. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Lumi Matte Foundation today. Depending on what you're kind of going for, what kind of finish you would like. If you want something that's a little bit more thinner coverage, that is a bit more matte by itself, get the Maybelline one. But if you want something that's quicker and more of a skin finish, the Milani Stick Foundation is really good. But I'm just using my Dampen Paw Paw Makeup Sponge to blend out the Maybelline. And I do tend to like the Maybelline one a bit better with a Lumi primer underneath. I wear shade 110 in the Maybelline and shade 03 in the Milani. Are there any other new foundations that you've picked up recently that you've been enjoying? It's been forever since I've used a high-end foundation or bought a new high-end foundation. Do you have a high-end foundation that you would recommend to me? I mean, it's probably going to be a while before I pick any high-end foundations up, just because I know that the Sephora sale just is, you know, was over. And if I was going to get a high-end foundation, I should have gotten one then. But I just love it paired with the Rimmel Multitasker. I just think it looks so pretty. It has just the nicest like glow with that primer. The Rimmel Multitasker Concealer. I know that this is not a super new product. I believe that this was launched sometime last year, like this came out then. But I recently picked this up like a month or two ago, and this has become my go-to concealer. This is what it looks like here in the packaging, and I have this shade 030. I believe this is light. Yeah, light. And it's a good, like, kind of pinky, cool-toned concealer. It's not like super pink. It's kind of just like a, sort of like a pink neutral shade, but I really love this. It has really good coverage, and it's in between like a matte and Lumi type of concealer. So I find it not to be like drying on the under eyes, and it just has really good full coverage. So I just like to dot it there. But I'll just kind of show you between the two eyes like how it brightens and what it looks like there. And I've told you guys before that this is like really comparable to the Tarte Shape Tape. I think like maybe even like the Tarte, the Ultra Creamy. And I do find that the formula on this is not quite as thick as those. So yeah, it's like a little bit thinner on the coverage, but, or consistency, but has the same amount of coverage. So that's what it looks like blended out there. And as long as I don't over apply it, I don't have any issues with it settling in my crease or anything like that, like my under eye creases and, or like my under eye, like my fine lines. And it lasts really well all day. So I really like this. And I mean, Rimmel products are super affordable. This is probably one of like my most affordable concealers in my makeup collection. And I'm just going to take like whatever's left here on my sponge and just kind of even out my eyelids. I am going to go on top with like a eyeshadow primer when I do my eyeshadow. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more of this concealer, put it here on my nose to add some extra coverage. And a little bit here, like around my mouth. But what is your favorite concealer right now? Like, what are you loving? Have you tried this Rimmel Multitasker Concealer? Like, do you like it? And I just thought, like, you know, like I have thought to bring back like monthly favorites videos, but it's like, while I do enjoy filming those and sharing my favorites with you guys, it's like some months I might not really have any new favorites to share with you guys, and I don't want to make myself like feel forced to come up with things. So I just thought like filming videos like this ever so often, like where I have some products that I'm really loving and I want to share with you guys, I can just kind of throw it into like a get ready with me type of video. And a lot of my favorites have been complexion products. So I do have like two powders that I just reach for so much and have been really enjoying. The L'Oreal Infallible Blur-fection. I like to use this to set my under eyes, and there are a lot of other like loose setting powders that I have in my collection that I do like to use to set the under eye as well, but something about this powder just seems like it really does blur my under eyes really well. And the tone of this, it's brightening, but at the same time, like it's not so brightening that it's emphasizing fine lines or anything like that. That's why I find that this powder blurs so well. I think it's like the tone of it. And I know that they make a few different shades in this. Like they have like a pinky kind of toned one, like a pink powder. This one I believe is in translucent. Yeah, 20 translucent. So, and it's almost like a light yellowy kind of tone. I like to just apply this lightly with the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35. So I'm gonna set like one eye so you can see the difference between the two. So you can see what I'm talking about it being like really just like blurring the under eye, and it brightens just enough that it also kind of helps cancel out like any darkness. So I don't know if you can really see it on camera. I think you can, but like in person, I can really tell the difference between this under eye and this one. So yeah, it's like, I know if you are the type of person that you figure out like cost per ounce when it comes to loose setting powder, this L'Oreal one is pretty expensive compared to like the Maybelline Fit Me or the Wet n Wild Photo Focus loose powder. But I just enjoy this so much more on my under eye area than those. Like, I mean, I do like those, but this, I don't know, there's just something about this. It's just such a good under eye setting. And I have used it all over the face, but it just doesn't have the same, like, I feel like I can get the same effect with like the Wet n Wild Photo Focus powder or the Maybelline Fit Me when I use it all over the face as opposed to the under eyes. So I think that's why I've just enjoyed this as a good like under eye setting powder. Moving on, so this Morphe Cloud Light Soft Glow Veil in Dawn. This is a beautiful illuminating setting powder. It's just so pretty. And I know that Jen Phelps, if you guys are subscribed to her, she was talking about how this was really comparable to like the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders. I do not own any of those. It just has a nice soft pinkish glow. So I like to apply this with like a large powder brush. This is the e.l.f. just like the large powder brush. It just says e.l.f. powder on it, but I like to just lightly dust this all over. And I probably should have done my bronzer before this step. I usually do that because I've been really enjoying a liquid bronzer. But that liquid bronzer that I'm going to use, it works well over powders as well. But so this is just going to add another like layer of just like that glow, and it does kind of mattify like a little bit, like it kind of tones down the initial shine of your foundation, but it adds like a soft glow. I think you can see that on camera. And like sometimes too, I'll even apply a little bit more of this on my cheekbones and use it as a highlight. So if you are a fair skin tone, I think you would enjoy this shade in Dawn. I don't know, like if you're medium to deep, this might be a little too like light and cool tone. It might look a little ashy on you, but if you are fair, I think you would really enjoy that. These e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer Contours are so good, and I love all three shades that I picked up. I picked up the shades Fair, Fair Light, and Light, and I like all of these shades for like different reasons. So the fair shade is really good for just like contouring. It's a very nice cool tone shade. I'll just do some little swatches on the back of my hand so you can see. And this product would be really good for somebody that is very fair, like a fair cool toned, if you have fair cool tone skin, just because this is not orangey whatsoever and it looks beautiful. So like on days when I want, like I said, more contoured look, or I don't want to look too overdone on the bronzer, I like to use that. And then if I want something that's kind of in between like a contour and bronzer, I've been using the Fair Light one. This one's just a little bit more warm than the Fair. And these e.l.f. liquid bronzers are so, like they blend out so easily and they last all day long. So that is Fair Light. So like, as you can see, it is a bit more warm. I wouldn't say it's orangey. It's more of like a rosy kind of tone. And then the last one here in the shade Light, this one is a little bit more like yellow based. So kind of more of like that traditional bronze kind of look. So there is the shade Light. So as you can see, that one is a little bit more yellowy based and is more like traditional kind of bronzer look. So I think that they did such a beautiful job on the shade ranges on these. Like, it goes up pretty like deep on those bronzers. So I think any like skin tone, sorry, I'm trying to get like a makeup remover wipe. I think any skin tone can find their shade in that line. I know recently I've been mostly using like fair and fair light in my videos, so I'm gonna use light. It's been a minute since I've used that one. I might end up getting light medium whenever summer rolls around, just because, you know, I'll be getting more of a tan and that one might be like a better match for me then. But in the winter, I get so fair that those type of shades can be a little too much for me. So I usually just do 2 little dots of it, and the brush that I've been using to blend this out that I think works beautifully is this brush that I got off of Amazon. It came in an 18-piece brush set. And if you watch my channel, you know how much I love that brush set, but it's such an amazing deal. $10 for 18 brushes. I've got like a spot right here in my hairline. I think it was from like my hair dye. I just got my roots touched up on Thursday of this past week, so like if you are new to my channel, like this is not my natural hair color. My natural hair color is more of like a light brown, but I love this darker brown hair color on me. I just find that like since my eyes are like a darker brown, I just find that like a darker hair color just suits me so well. It's like, I feel like that should be like my natural color as opposed to like a light brown. And then I just do like a few dots. And I also like got my hair trimmed up some more. So that's another thing, like this haircut, like ever since I got my hair cut short, I've been enjoying like the shorter hair. It's just like so much easier to fix and style. And my hair type is very like straight and fine. And so a haircut like this, just like an angled bob, works so well for that hair type. Like I really don't have to do much to style my hair. Like I'll show you guys at the end of the video, but like when I take these clips out, you'll be able to see like it just lays so nice, and I didn't straighten it or nothing. Like I just washed my hair today and used a blow dryer. So I'm gonna add just a little bit more over here. For some reason, I feel like that side was darker than this side, even though I applied the same amount of dots. But yeah, like as you can see, like this just has a nice, beautiful bronze, but it's not too intense for me. It's like, of course you could always apply more of it and make it more intense, but I find this undertone to be really flattering. Like all 3 of those shades I can use and I feel like they look good. So it's like if I ever want to do like a more cool toned makeup look, I use 2 of the other shades. And then if I'm doing like more of a warm makeup look, I've been reaching for this one. And as you can see, like that blended so nice, like over top of the powder, like it didn't look bad. So it's like you could use it either way, like underneath powder, on top of powder. It blends out so well. So I think e.l.f. did an amazing job on these. Highly recommend those. Oh, also randomly, like I redid my nails today, and I used one of these Opia X Press-Ons nail set. This is in the Dream Come Hue, and I love these Opia press-on nails, the glue-on ones. The only thing is my nail beds are really long, so I cannot use like their classic length, like they are too short, so I always have to get the long ones. But I just think that these are so pretty for spring. So tomorrow is going to be Easter, so I was trying to figure out like what nails do I want to use, but I do highly recommend these. I love these press-on nails. That's just another sad thing that I like, but not really part of this video, but just thought I would share because I figure maybe some of you guys might be curious about like what I have on my nails. Off camera, I went ahead and filled in my eyebrows with my Maybelline Build-A-Brow in black brown. And I also went ahead and primed my eyelids with this Wet n Wild Mega Last eyeshadow primer. So the next thing that I've been enjoying so much and would recommend to you guys is this e.l.f. This is like their 10, I forget what these are called. This is just like their 10 pan little eyeshadow palette, and this is in Keep It Ethereal. And I think that this eyeshadow palette is such a beautiful everyday palette, and I've actually been able to get some really pretty bronzy, smoky looks out of this palette as well, even though it looks more light and kind of natural with the shades. I think today I'm gonna do more of an everyday look with it, just something quick and simple. First, to kind of like even out my eyelids, I'm gonna use the first shade in this palette. But this is my first e.l.f. 10 pan eyeshadow palette. I love their bite-sized palettes, and I did a series here on my channel like where I took each of those. I'm just putting that shade all over the lid and into the crease, just kind of using this as like a eyeshadow base for the other shades that I'm going to use. But I did like a series with the e.l.f. bite-sized palettes, and I took each of those palettes and did a makeup look with each of them, and I love their bite-sized palette. So I don't know why I was taking so long to try out their 10 pan palettes. But this one and Keep It Ethereal, it is like their newest one from that line. It is so good. This first brush I was using was just like a crease brush from that Amazon brush set. And then I'm going to use the Profusion Firm blending eyeshadow brush to blend in the crease. And I'm going to use this shade here. It's just like a pink. And I'm just blending that. I'm focusing it more here in the outer V, and then just slowly kind of bringing it in towards the crease there. But it's like you could really take this palette a few different ways. Like if you use that more cool tones gray, you could kind of take this a little bit more cool toned. And if you wanted more of like a warm neutral, you could use that brownish color that's next to this pink. But I just love a good like pinky rosy toned eyeshadow. The only thing that I feel like this palette is missing is like a really light, almost like a cream or white shade to highlight the brow bone. Like for my skin tone, that's what I usually use to highlight, or, you know. So I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Walking on Eggshells for that part. Like this is just my go-to palette, and this little shade here to highlight, but I just cannot do a makeup look without using some sort of highlight shade. And this is usually the one that I use most of the time. So I'm just going to brush that here on my brow bone. If you were a medium skin tone, I feel like that first shade that I used all over the lid, like all over my eyelid, that would be like a good highlighting shade, but it's too dark for me really to use as a highlight shade. So on the lid, I'm going to use the first shade in this palette, and this one, it's probably like the one shade out of this palette that isn't the most pigmented. So I'm going to kind of show you a way to make it be a little bit more pigmented on your eyelid. So I'm taking the Sigma F70 brush, and I'm really working the brush into that shade like, and I will say that those kind of shimmery shades in there can hard pan if you swatch them a lot. So I really wouldn't recommend swatching them a bunch. And I'm going to use a setting spray. So like Milani Make It Last, mist the brush, just one little mist there. This is also going to help it to adhere to your eyelid, like, you know, keep the little micro shimmers from falling on your face. And I do find that if I use a setting spray with it, it does kind of intensify the shade a little bit. That's kind of my trick that I do when I'm wanting an eyeshadow to just have a little bit more pigmentation, is to just dampen the brush with the setting spray. But it is such a pretty color. I love the shade of this. And I love those little micro shimmers. Like sometimes after I apply it with the brush dampened like that, I'll go back with my finger and just kind of tap it on the eyelid to make it even more like opaque. And see, I feel like just something like that is so pretty for every day, just really light and natural. I think I'm going to go in with like some of the darker shades though, just for the sake of this video, so you can see what those colors look like. So I'm gonna take this darker matte brown, which this palette's got four shimmery shades and then like what, 6 mattes? Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go in with that second or the third shade from the end there. And I'm using the Sigma Pencil E30. And I'm just gonna smudge this here on the lower lash line. And then I'm flipping that same Sigma brush that I was using on the eyelid. I'm gonna get that darkest brown in the palette. And I'm just gonna pat it right out here first in the outer V. Then I'm just getting a little bit more of that dark brown on this Profusion small pointed brush. And I'm just gonna go around the edge. Actually, let's get a little bit more of that on this brush. I'm just gonna kind of pull it upwards like this and then take it over like that, just to darken the outer V of my eye. So, I mean, you can get like a slightly darker look with this palette, but I mean, it's not gonna be like super crazy dark. I mean, I found on myself I can get a pretty like deep bronze smoky eye with this, but that's just probably because I'm so fair. But you know, if you were like a medium to deeper skin tone, it probably would definitely be more of like a good, just lighter everyday sort of palette. But I do love this palette for everyday wear. I just think it's so pretty. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back with that pinky tone and I'm just gonna lightly go around the edge. And then I'm gonna take some more of that darkest brown there. I'm a Sigma Pencil E30 and I'm also gonna run this on the lower lash line as well, just to kind of deepen things up a little bit. Right out here. Off camera, I just used my Physicians Formula Eye Booster pen in deep brown to line my upper lash line. I used the Merit Flesh Balm in, I looked up how to pronounce this the other day, but now I cannot remember how to pronounce this, but it was just this shade of the Merit Flesh Balm. It's a really pretty like burgundy plum. And then I misted my face with the Milani Make It Last. I used the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. And then I just used a little bit of the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder, just like in my T-zone there, just to kind of mattify things a little bit. Just because, like I told you guys, I'm like kind of normal oily. It's so funny because I used to be normal dry, but over the years my skin has gotten a little bit more on like the oily side, which is weird because you'd think as you'd age your skin would get more dry, but my skin's done the opposite. Okay, so my last two favorite products are two lip products, and these are newer to my collection, but not necessarily like new on the market lip products. I mean, this Catrice one is newer, but it has been out for a little bit. But this is the Catrice Care in Colors Lip Balm in Wild Rebel. And this is kind of along the lines as the Clinique Black Honey lipstick. Like, I just want to swatch this Catrice Care in Colors in Wild Rebel with the Clinique Black Honey. I'm trying to figure out where I put that. Here it is. But the Catrice one is a little bit more berry, like cool toned berry, where the Clinique Black Honey is more of like a warm toned red, like almost like brick brown, kind of brownish red, and this is more of like a berry red, if you can tell the difference there. So I feel like if you're more of a warm skin tone, go for Clinique Black Honey. If you're cool, go for this Catrice one. But honestly, I like the way this Catrice feels on the lips. Like, it's more hydrating and moisturizing than the Clinique one. So I'm just gonna put this on the lips. And this pairs so nice with that blush. But this is just a nice moisturizing tinted lip balm. And it builds really nice. You can get like a really nice color from this. And I think this would pair really nice with a lip liner even. And then the other product that I have been loving so much is one of the Maybelline Lifter Glosses in the shade Taffy, which is also along the lines of that Catrice Care in Colors in Wild Rebel. It's just like a little bit more pinky toned. So that is the Lifter Gloss there in Taffy. So I'm just going to use a little bit of this to top the Catrice. But I love using Taffy by itself as well. That's normally the way that I use it the most, is just by itself. And once it wears off of your lips, it leaves almost like a tint. And I love the way the Lifter glosses smell. Like they just have such a nice smell, like almost like a vanilla, like a fruity vanilla smell. So, and they taste good if you happen to get it in your mouth. But this is my makeup look done. All of my current like top 10, sorry, I just hit the mic. Top 10 favorite like new drugstore makeup products. So let me know, let us know down in the comments, like what are some of your favorite products right now. They could be drugstore, they could be high-end, they could be new, they could be old. Just let us know. I'm always curious to hear what you guys are loving. Thank you guys so much if you stay till the end. I hope that you all have a great day. I love you guys, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.